Get a red heart, get a red heart. Get a youth, don't you ever give up. Get a red heart, get a red heart. If it easy, I'm on a setup. Get a red heart, get a red heart. Don't you ever give up, no. Get a red heart, get a red heart. Let's go. Get to red hearts, get to red hearts. See my mama no get.
Yeah, it's your man, it's your boy, it's your guy, it's your servant, it's your son, Eric Obu, aka Vocal Slender from Lagos, Nigeria. Well, I was born in a family of 3 boys, 2 girls, and the second born. Growing up was tough, it was not easy. As a young guy, who never get to know his mom until I lost my dad. I went to bury my dad 6 years ago. That's when I get to meet my mom and say, So life has not been rosy to me. I don't really have a childhood memory. That anything that I would say all my childhood years was full of suffering, pain, misfeeling, struggle. I would just try to eat survival. Yeah. Music is my life. Music is the passion that have really driving me. Music drives me to the dump. Music is why I'm living. You see? So I've been living a life of music. Now my passion for music is to become an international artist, which God have already started. I've not released an album, but Owo Yakpa, my popular song, is being sung by white people. I remember in a club in the UK when I performed in the white people environment. I know how Owo Yakpa might send them come treat the white people. So now we are forced in the music. We are coming. Just as I said, we can only do your best and leave the rest for God. Time. You see, very soon we hit the music world. Well, when I decided to do music and I was helping my Jawa studio, I used to go there to hang out with the producers there, helping them to play. They said I should pay money to learn music. I told them that I can't pay, so I will help you to play and do some work, so I'll become attached to the studio. That's why I met the Plantation Boys, Nelson Brown, Sam Sultan, Asados, great musician, Idris Abdulkarim, Tony Tetula. I was touched. The studio environment was so new to me, and the memory was, I love this place. I like to be in this place. So I thought working there, I'll be privileged to use the studio to do my songs. But the owner of the studio said, never gave me a free studio session. Understand? No free meat for Ajigule. So a friend of mine had told me, why don't you go and work and do your music? So he took me to the dump. So in the heap of refuse, I said, no, I can't work here. I went away. After a year, I decided to say, okay, let me go back to let me go give it a try. So life in the dump is a funny thing about it. It's fun. Sometimes I think about it and I just give God the glory, because life in the morning, we turn down our goods, sell the one we have to sell, keep the ones we have to keep. Eat after taking our breakfast. Some go out to work, some go out early morning to work. Sometimes I go early morning if I have to save money or I'm eager to make money. That I'll go out early morning to work. But if not, I spend more time reading or chatting or meditating. More time meditating in the morning. Then when it gets to 12, I take off I shower and I change. So if I want to go and work in the dump, it's like I dress like a firefighter. I wear my helmet, my cap, to cover everything, or cover my face. Rub Nizodem on my face, my boots with the safe guide on it, my hand glove, long sleeve, double jeans, and when I'm entering the door, me and my friend Nokia, I have a popular song I used to sing, and everybody in the dorm know the song. If I'm coming from far, I'll just scream, Achiwale oh, Achiwale oh, Oya catch your fire ah, Ola. So all the aboki and all the women in the dorm, if they just hear me, Achiwale, everybody just cry the chorus. Some people will be angry, these troublemakers are now in the dorm, but these fight people don't come. So it was fun, so we walk, and that is my normal life in the dorm. So I keep entertaining my friends. We come and naked we go because nothing we bring on this world. Why we dey kill ourselves, fight ourselves for ordinary material thing. So as I was entertaining them, among the crowd were some few white men who just loved what I was doing and said, "Are you a professional musician?" I said, "Yes." I said, "But why are you doing the dorm? Because this is where I work to produce my song." And then I said, "Okay, when are you recording?" I said, "I've already booked a studio session. I'll be working on a fortnight." And I said, "Okay, they'll come." I gave them the address. To my surprise, they were there before me. That is how the documentary story started. When I was working at the dorm, music drive me to the dorm. But anytime I say, okay, I want to produce a track, it will take me like 6 months to save money for the beat. And I'll save again for another 6 months to voice. Before I will save money to mix and master. These big artists will come up with different kind of beats. And I'll say, okay, let me go and do, I don't like this beat. Let's do this kind of fresh beat. That's how I end up working for 9 years at the dorm. But the good thing is that I had some good friends in radio. DJ Tommy, DJ KLM, DJ Humility. These people play my song once, and Humility have interviewed me once. Yeah, after the documentary was aired in the UK, 2010, journalists start tripping into the dorm and they have to chase me from the dorm. So, respect to Kokoba, Basket Mouth, they all made arrangements for me to travel to the UK, which was an experience I'll never forget. It was an experience that all over UK, the first day I landed at UK, I was not expecting to see such crowd at the airport to welcome me. I was not expecting it. The crowd I saw at the airport, I nearly ran back. I said, these people won't deport you. If I knew cameras everywhere, I was so happy. The fun. I wish it lasts forever. So that is how it is. Everybody was just focused on everywhere. Even at the airport, people start taking photos with me. Paparazzi. Before we move from the airport to where the car is, I've taken over 100 pieces with different people at the airport. From where the car to where we are, it's okay, let's go and have lunch. Even when we're having lunch, interview, people, talk, question, photos. From here to the club, to the house, things. So it was fun. I performed in different clubs. My greatest experience was when I was bid to perform at O2 Arena. When they put me in a very big apartment, and I saw the person that used that apartment was Celine Dion. Celine Dion, also all the artists that have used the apartment, their names are there. And I said, this is me sharing the same apartment with Celine Dion. Beyonce have used this apartment. So it was a dream come true. Respect. I thank Kokoba for it, and I thank Edikadi. So when I get on stage, before I said, everybody was singing the song. So everybody sang the song. Over 40,000 people at O2 Arena was singing, Oti, pop, 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 pop. Money don't plenty. So it was fun. The experience was fun. I performed at different clubs, went to Liverpool, went to Manchester, and I did a video in the UK. The turnout was great, and the rest was to give God the glory. Well, a lot of people saw my life as a success story because from the humble beginning to where God lifts me, it's like it's rare. It's something they read in the Bible. That's why some people said, "So my story is like the story they read in the Bible, from nothing to something." So, and right from after the documentary, I now knew that I'm not just as every other human being. God have a special interest in me. That's what people keep telling me. God have an interest in you. So a lot of people will call me and will advise them. A lot of people will say, Lucas Lenda, you're an inspiration to us. You're an inspiration to us. That's why when they gave me an award in the UK, the Z to Survive award, that day, a lot of people walk up to me, what really drive you? That you are not scared, no matter what you go through in the dump, you stay focused on your goal. I look at them, I said, right from the days I was born, right from the time I knew that anything I want to do in life, I focus on it. The thing that kept me going was perseverance. I persevere. So that I see my life, I've really motivated a lot of people, especially when I went to Unilag. Students there they mobbed me. My school tour, went to Yaba Tech. Everywhere I go, I share my experience, motivate people. People start asking questions. I think my story, the documentary, have really inspired a lot of people. Yeah, Ghetto Love project started when I came back from the UK. You know, I brought more than 5 Ghana must go of clothes and shoes. Some people gave it to me to sell. When I came back to Ajegunle, I said, how can I sell these things? I started giving it out. I give the clothes, the shoes, and the bag out. And since then, people start asking me for things. So I remember I went to visit a friend. At their compound, a young girl was crying. She was crying bitterly. Her mom was begging her. She said she will not go to school. They are begging her to go to school. I was touched and I intervened and asked her, why don't you want to go to school? She said she had been using polythene bag, nylon bag to go to school from primary school. Now she's in JSS 2. She cannot go. All her friends are laughing at her at class. And her mom don't want to buy her bag. Now look at her mom. Why? Her mom said no money. She no money to buy her bag. I said, but it's free now. He said no money. Let her manage the nylon bag. God will provide. I was really touched. And I removed my laptop from my bag, gave her my bag, and put my laptop in a nylon bag. So I still remember on that day again, I went to visit my dancer. And his elder brother was crying, toothache. He was crying toothache. Well, because I've experienced it, so I know the pain. And I said, why don't you go to hospital? And he said, all the general hospitals are on strike. I said, go to private. He said they are charging them 5,000 here, but he doesn't have such money. And my manager, he gave me some money to go and produce a song. And I told him, that money you gave me to produce a song, I want to give to somebody to go and remove his toothache. I gave him the 5,000. Because I was touched looking at the boy's parents, they all sitting down, and they said they don't have such money, 5,000 naira. I gave the boy. So when I called my manager, and I told me that if you have this flair of giving people, you have over 5,000 friends, why don't you start an NGO by posting it on Facebook, start assisting people? So we come up with an idea. My friend went on radio. A friend said, okay, Lucas Lenda, we are doctors NGO, we treat people for free. If you can buy the drugs, we'll come to Ajegunle and treat people for free, which we did that last year, Children's Day. We bought drugs over 300,000 here. The guy minister and gave drugs to over 400 people. And the first time I did HIV test was when I was traveling out, so I felt that a lot of people in Ajegunle haven't done such things. So we decided to, last year December, World AIDS Day, we did Ghetto Love World AIDS Day. Then this year Children's Day, we thought about it and said, I know that all my life when I was young, I've never been to any park, amusement park, I've never been in any bouncing castle. And I said, okay, let's bring bouncing castle to Ajegunle and make people of Ajegunle feel at home. So that was Children's Day. A lot of people supported, like Dayspace supported. A lot of people supported us, Fola. So we brought bouncing castle. The children were happy. We made them feel the love. What most of the youth, children lack in Ajegunle, let them feel it. So because of that, my manager said, okay, let's do something back to school. So that those children that doesn't have bag or books or sandals to go to school, we'll give them such things. So September 7th, last month, we did back to school. I've never been moved by children that way, where we share over 400 bags, over 600 sandals, over 2,000 books with Ghetto Love printed on it. But what I want to say here is, do what you are doing. Forget the reward. The reward will surely come. When we started this Ghetto Love last year, I never thought that they would nominate me for an award with it. You understand? We haven't posted it any day on TV or on radio, but to God, as God will do it, that I will bless the works of your hand. They called me on phone that Ghetto Love have been nominated for an award in the UK, Life Changers Award. So it's a plus. Means that what we are doing, people are seeing it. Even though they are not commenting, people are seeing it. We are touching life. The reason why everybody, why we are on this earth living, is to be of help to the next man. A candle never loses. A candle doesn't lose anything by lighting another candle. So we lose nothing by helping or being of help to our next man. My last word to my people out there is please try and read. Read great books. Because anytime you read, you learn something. And the book will open your mind. The advantage we have here in Nigeria is that the more we read, the more we learn. Please, let's try and read. And my last message to my people is, nothing kills a man more than his own thoughts. If you see yourself as a champion, you'll be a champion. Create your world with imagination, like the great man said, Albert Einstein says, imagination is greater than education. So imagine how you want your life to be, and it will come to pass. It will only take time. Thank you.